And finally, the 68th annual Grammy Awards take place this Sunday night in Los Angeles. Rapper Kendrick Lamar leads the nominees, along with Lady Gaga, pop princess Sabrina Carpenter, R&B singer Leon Thomas, and Puerto Rican rapper Bad Bunny, who could make history with the first win for an Album of the Year sung entirely in Spanish. In total, there are 95 awards distributed over a whopping 8 hours. South African comedian Trevor Noah will be back to host for a sixth and, in theory, last time. Well, for more on what's known as music's biggest night, we can speak to Christina L. Myers, an assistant professor of journalism at Michigan State University. Hello, and thank you so much for staying up late to speak to us.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Now, I know Kendrick Lamar is leading the nominations, but I want to talk about Puerto Rican rapper Bad Bunny. Would a win for him be particularly relevant this year, given the Trump administration's crackdown on refugees, many of whom are Latino?
Absolutely. It certainly will be relevant. Bad Bunny remains a dominant global force with his 6 nominations. His genre shifting reach and cultural impact have helped reshape what mainstream success looks like beyond the English language market. And again, as you mentioned, if he wins the Album of the Year, he'll make history as the first all Spanish language album to win the top award. And of course, he's leading the headlining Super Bowl halftime show next Sunday. And so he's certainly going into tonight's awards with some momentum. So definitely, that's something we're going to be certainly looking at. And actually, the Recording Academy has increasingly awarded artists who don't just top charts, but shape culture. And so all the artists that you've mentioned have had commercially massive, critically respected years that has crossed genres, generations, and of course, borders.
And in general, are we expecting to see a lot of politics at this year's Grammys?
I would suggest so. There's always a place for that in music. Despite who may occupy political office, music has always occupied a historic role as both recourse and resistance, as political counterweight and cultural refuge. So we see that throughout history, how there's been forces that consistently transcend music, racial, cultural, economic, and generational barriers. And it's operating as a source of hope, and shared language within traditional systems fail to communicate that. So we see Kendrick Lamar, we see that hip hop continues to confront systemic racial inequality head on. Pop continues to amplify and offer visibility, and global genres like Latin music and Afrobeats assert cultural presence in a moment of heightened nationalism. So in this era, music isn't just reflecting the moment, it's helping people survive it, connect across divides, and imagine something better when the political climate feels fractured. So that's why moments like tonight matter, because protests and political expression don't always arrive as chants and marches. They often surface in more subtle, culturally resonant ways, like through fashion choices on the red carpet, through staging and lyrics of performances, or through acceptance speeches that speak to immigration, ICE race, and systemic discrimination.
One of the changes for this year is that the award for Best Country Album has been split into two. They're now awarding Best Traditional Country Album and then Best Contemporary Country Album. It's hard to ignore that change comes just the year after Beyoncé won for her country album Cowboy Carter. What's your take on the timing of that change?
The timing is quite interesting. I know there was a lot of controversy surrounding that, but I have to say, Beyonce, what she did with Cowboy Carter was to reclaim what has always been within the Black musical traditions, right? They have been foundational in all the genres across the board, including country music. So I don't want to surmise or suppose why that change happened, but that was an honor that Beyonce certainly earned, and it was well deserved.
Nigeria's Afrobeat king Fela Kuti is also due to be posthumously recognized with the Lifetime Achievement Award, becoming the first African artist to receive that distinction. How significant is that? And then why did it take so long?
It's always important that we honor the voices, these artists who have contributed greatly to our culture. Again, I'm not so much focused on why it took so long, but that the corrective measures are in place because, again, the Grammys have long functioned as a barometer for national mood. And so if that corrective action can bring some sense of joy and appreciation to that sound, that's what's impactful. That's what's important. And it's a celebration of the music and the legacy. So it's good to see that the Grammys is following through with that.
And finally, what are the main highlights that you're looking out for tonight? What are you most excited about?
Oh, well, I'm certainly excited about Trevor Noah. He says this will be his last. He's certain this time the last Grammys that he will be hosting. And so I'm looking forward to hearing him and his commentary because I'm sure he will speak to the political climate that is happening right now. Of course, all the best new artists that will be performing back to back in one large set. So I'm looking forward to that as well. And of course, the winners. We're looking to see if Kendrick Lamar has somewhat of a sweep, to see if Lady Gaga holds her throne, some of the tributes. So there's so much to look forward to, certain many hours of programming to look forward to. And again, music is certainly such a powerful form that not only speaks to ideas of truth and societal insight, but it's a momentary escape. And that's something that many of us are desiring in this time. So I'm just looking forward to the music.
Well, hopefully it will be a good show. I know it's always hard to watch when you're in France, but I'll be watching out for the highlights tomorrow morning when I wake up. Christina L. Myers, thank you again so much for speaking to us today. That's Christina L. Myers, an assistant professor of journalism at Michigan State University, talking to us there about this night's Grammys.